Hello everyone, my name is Blaine Murphy.
And I'm Jordan Williams.
We worked with MBARI, which stands for Monterey Bay Aquarium Research Institute, and we worked specifically with Tom Mound and Kevin Jones, and our project name was Decision Support System.
And our advisor was K-Lock.
So a little background on what happens at MBARI is that there's a group of scientists and engineers that work together on a fleet of underwater vehicles. They're named AUVs, which stand for Autonomous Underwater Vehicles. These vehicles range from semi to fully autonomous. They range in size, the distance in which they can travel, and also the pattern in which they traverse through the water. The experiments are very expensive, so they're only able to send out the AVs about 4 times a year, so collaboration is key. The scientists must work together to figure out the optimal path so all the data can be researched and collected, so because each scientist is probably working on different experiments. And then the scientists must work with engineers to make sure the paths are even feasible, if they can make it that far, and if they can't go too close to shore and other things. And then the decisions must be made quickly because, well, for instance, if the AUV is following an algae bloom and the algae bloom moves into a different water column, they must make sure the AUV gets back on track and they're collecting all the data that needs to be collected. So the problem is that right now the scientists and engineers aren't working effectively together. This is due to unorganized data. The data isn't organized because everything is kind of more verbal. Nothing's really written down. There's no formal statements and documentation. So the solution to this is on the right, the web interface, which allows the user to log in as either an admin or a participant. If you log in as an admin, you're able to upload AUV data, and then if you log in as a participant, you're able to plot paths. It's kind of a collaboration tool, so other people, if they're not actually at MBARI, can still make sure to kind of have ideas of other people's, so when they go into these meetings, they're able to kind of crank things out a little quicker and get the AVs in the water. And then the mobile application, which is both for the iOS and the Android, allows scientists to log data while they're out in the water. And once they log the data, they're able to, it uploads to a web interface that allows people back at MBARI or other places throughout the world to see kind of what's going on at current time. And they're able to make decisions then and kind of look back on it with more of a visual.
So our methodology consisted of 3 major portions. Step 1 was to create the web interface, which William described, basically that allows for the scientists to create paths and maps to route the AUVs, and allows them also to comment on the different paths that they've set. We then created mobile applications for both the iOS and Android platforms with their respective software developer kits. And then using a database that we also created, we linked the 2 together. There's also another interface that is used by MBARI that allows for the scientists to see exactly where their observations were made based on the observations sent from our mobile applications, and they're pinpointed to their exact locations on a map. We also, during the process, went to MBARI about halfway through our project and demoed our projects to all the scientists at MBARI and allowed them to give us feedback, which we then used to go back and refine our applications and return with an even better presentation and demo for them to use, which now they are actually implementing. Our mobile application they are implementing at the moment. If you come by our poster session later on, you can actually see them demoing it out and images that they're taking around the office. So some tools that we've used, I'm going to get a little geeky on you guys, sorry. We use Adobe Dreamweaver to create the web interface, Adobe Photoshop also. Xcode and Eclipse was to create our mobile applications for Android and iOS. and PHP-MyAdmin for the databasing. And then some scripting languages such as Java, or some languages that we use with Java, Objective-C, HTML, JavaScript. The Google Map API was used for our web interface for the planning for the DUVs. And JSON was used to package the data together from our mobile applications and send it along to the database. So what we learned from the project, some life skills, or non-technical ones, were organization, teamwork. Working with a client proved to be no easy feat. There's a lot of miscommunication. It was kind of hard getting in contact with them at times, but it definitely helped us out. Time management was a huge skill that we picked up along the way. And then some technical skills that we picked up was JSON. We never worked with it. That's basically what packages the data together to send it back to the servers. The Google Maps API and Android development. While William and I have both been slightly experienced with iOS development, neither of us have ever developed for Android. And so we'd just like to thank our professors, Mbari, Capstone advisor Kate Lockwood, and our friends, family, and girlfriends